Hello viewers, I'm SB, and this is Cultist Simulator. I don't really know what to tell you about this game. I've never played anything quite like it. Let's just get in here and you can see for yourself what it is. So we are starting a brand new game. We are an aspirant, alone in this chilly city with my useless education and my whatever else that text was going to say. Listen, we don't need it. Here's the important part. We have two things in front of us. We have a card, and we have this button that brings up a window that we can put our card into. And this is sort of the interface for the game. You can see we have this whole tabletop area, and the game is going to be played out with these cards and buttons, and we can move everything around and place things where we want. We have a little bit of UI down here at the bottom. Let's just go ahead and name our character. So this is the work button. Earn a living or practice the invisible arts. Well, right now all we have is the menial employment card. Precarious position as a hospital porter. Miserable, but it's all you can find just now. So yeah, alright, let's work. Let's go to our job as a terrible job as a prison porter. Another shift, mopping the darkened hallways, delivering posts to hollow-eyed invalids, trundling corpse-laden gurneys to the basement. And so you can see the events that the buttons start up will run in real time. We do have a pause that is available anytime we want it, as well as normal speed and fast forward. Because you can pause the game at any time and you can interact with the game while it's paused, there's not a lot of traditional time pressure, so if you are a person who is not into timers in games, and I know that there are a lot of people like that, you never really have to worry about the time pressure in that sense. But there will come times in the game where the time pressure is different events timing against each other, and you're trying to make things end in a specific order. It's a thoughtful game. It's a game you have to be careful while playing. So we've got another shift at the hospital. Halfway through your shift, the head porter beckons you aside. "We won't require your services any longer," he says. "Here, your last payment." "I have lost my job. At least now I have a little time to rest, and my health improves." So we've gotten some new cards, health, and funds. Our last paycheck was 1 unit of funding. We've also unlocked the dream action. "Once again, I dream of a glow beneath the filthy skin of the world. The light through the black wood, the pale door, the old man." And I guess we'll just let that run. We're going to have to find some work at some point, because you can totally starve to death if you run out of money. "It began when I spoke to the old man in the hospital. He knew my name. But he's dead now. The pneumonia. Why do I dream of him still? What is the cobalt light in my dreams?" Time is now passing. So we've unlocked the time is passing action, which is unfortunate for us. And also a little bit of contentment and our passion. So we have the dream action. This is basically like work is what you do during the day. Dream is what you do during the night, basically. We have now this time passes thing. The time passes action is something you never interact with, but it will slowly steal all of your money, to pay for food and lodging and whatnot. And if you run out of money, you will get sick, and if you get sick, you will eventually die. So try not to let that happen. And here we have the course of the heart. Whenever the principle of the heart is implicated, I may gain vitality. So some of these, you'll see some of these sometimes too. They're sort of like passive events that they give you a chance for things to happen as long as they are running. So we're going to need... we're going to need stuff. This is a bad situation here. We have no job, we have very little money. But what we can do is we can just have a little dream. The moonlit road. I know this dream. A road crests a hilltop, and the air is silver bright. So I guess I should show you, because I know basically what cards can fit where a little bit. I've played the game for about an hour and a half. If you ever have a slot here and you're not sure what can go in it, if you just click, in addition to the descriptive text, you can see anything that you can put in there will glow. So we could slot in our health card to call it an early night. Could put in some funds here to purchase a tincture of opium. In times of especial crisis, I might visit a discreet pharmacist to purchase a tincture of opium and make my dreams sweet. But only in times of especial crisis. This is an expensive and risky way to gain contentment. It might provoke sickness or despair, and we really can't afford to spend any money this way. So if we call it an early night, we'll increase our vitality, which can eventually have an effect on our health. You can early to bed and early to rise and all that. I don't actually 100% remember what happens if you put passion in here, but that's what we're going to do. And you can see at the bottom, there's all these, every event has aspects, every card has aspects. And there's a lot of that sort of writing going on here. This game was made by the guy who did all the writing, some of the writing, I guess. It probably was not all one person, but some of the writing for Sunless Sea and Fallen London. So if you're familiar with those games, you know what kind of thing to expect here already. Yeah, let's dream. And so see, now we have an optional slot here. We could put in, if I engage in an occult practice before I sleep, I might find the way to a deeper dream. We don't know anything about any occult practices. You can see some of the actions will create background elements behind them. And you can arrange things on the tabletop, in whatever way suits you best aesthetically. My own heart pumps more strongly today. So we've got some vitality. So many cards are permanent, but some cards expire over time, and so you have to try to find the right opportunities to make use of them before their timer runs out. And just in case you were wondering, I haven't muted the music or anything. There just isn't any music a lot of the time. This is the sort of game that I would probably play with something else going, set your own mood a little bit. So let's see, we have time passes. It has this magnet slot on it, so it will grab the appropriate type of card if you have one. Every minute or so, time passing will grab funds out of our supply here, and if we don't have any, bad things will happen. Also, a bequest has arrived. A letter from a solicitor. The old man at the hospital, the one I dream of, has named me in his will. I'll hear more soon. Well, that's awfully strange. Okay, so stuff's happening here all over the place. Let's pause the game for a second and wind this back because we were not watching it. Rumpled fields, the wink of a river, a tingling chill. Tonight I will dream of a museum. In the display cases of the Impossible Museum, I always see an apple white as snow and hard as marble, a golden beetle in a stern box, a coy geometry awaiting my touch, a black envelope bursting with spring, a brass opera box for instruments of record and measure, a storm in a tin. I always wake before I see the aisle's end. Alright, so our passion is exhausted temporarily. When this timer runs out, it will become available to play again. And we've gained glimmering. So if you're a little unclear on what's going on here and how these things can interact, that's kind of the point. The idea is that the game doesn't present you with a lot of information, and you sort of explore the story tree, such as it is. A tree is not, it's a little more complicated than that. But you kind of explore the engine of the story by taking actions and figuring out what will happen. Let's see what's up with this letter. The old man has bequeathed me a sum of money and a packet of peculiar papers, poetry, riddles, metaphysical speculations. For the first time in months, here is some fuel for my reason. We got ourselves the bequest, and he left us a ton of money. Wonderful. And also, reason. Which apparently is something you can just leave to somebody in your will. Who knew? So now we have the study action available to us, and let's pop that bequest in there. What approach will we use? Well, perhaps we should use the one that came with it. I'll examine each item with meticulous care. So now we don't really have to worry about our money for a while. If you want to move a stack of something, you just grab it by the number. So I'm going to put our funds over here by this, and actually, here. That stuff's all in the corner. It's out of our way. Here's our actual actions. So we have this ticking away. We could be dreaming, I guess. We need our passion. Right? Oh, I guess we could, here. You can call it an early night. That's what we can do. So you're trying to keep as many plates spinning as possible here, generating positive outcomes, but you don't always know what will generate a positive outcome. There's a lot of experimentation that goes into it, and a lot of weird things that will happen. As you noticed, probably, the game is called Cultist Simulator, so you probably have some idea of the subject matter that we get into. My correspondent describes my dreams exactly. They use names that are instantly familiar. The house, the wood, the hours, the glory. They do secrets beneath time and the skin of the world. A new curiosity burns in me. There is a note here. Directions to a bookshop that does not advertise its wares. So we have notes on a possible collaborator, directions to Moreland's, temptation for enlightenment, and a watchman's secret. Let's have a look at these cards here. And it has put my cards down in a way that does not make any sense to me. It has been expressed like this. Each hour has its color, but color exists only where there is light. And this thing has its aspects, and there's a lot of system going on here that I still don't really have a grasp of. And I wanted to record this before I really figured things out, so that I could properly convey to you the experience of trying to get a hold of what's going on here. So we have this study action available again. Let's study these directions. The directions to Moreland's shop are cryptic. When one deals in the kind of books my correspondent studied, one must be circumspect. Alright, so that's going to take 30 minutes to figure out. Can we work? Do we have any? Yeah, alright. Let's find work which will spare our body, if not our mind. I believe you can put a health card in here to find like a menial, like mining type job. A nice background element out of that. You're going to become a CPA. Glover and Glover have offered me a junior position. I start at 8 sharp tomorrow morning, so we got our reason back. Generally speaking, when you use your reason and your passion and your health for things, you get them back. That's, I think, why they're tracked down here. The levels of these are important. So we've got our junior position. I guess let's get to working. The scratching of pens, the sourness of dust, the sighing of the younger Glover, the greedy gurgling of the elder. Sounds like a lovely place to work. Diligence, I'm assuming reason fits in this slot? Yep, extra effort. It might help sometimes. Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and commit a card's worth of reason to this. Also, a light in the skull. Whenever the principle of the lantern sheds its light, I may recall additional scraps of knowledge. So I haven't really worked these out yet, but I think these are triggered by doing events that have the appropriate associations. Like you can see, this has 2 of the aspect of lantern on it. I think that makes it there a chance for each of these things to appear, but like I really don't have a good grasp of the systems yet. Alright, so our passion is available again. This extra vitality that we got is threatening to expire soon. Sometimes I have dreamt of a tall woman in a sand-colored coat who stands at the foot of my bed, smiling as she watches me sleep. In that dream, she turns her head with the swiftness of a bird, and her fingers flex like talons. I do not think I dreamt of her last night. If I had, I could not have slept so soundly. So we have a fleeting memory, we got our health back. I have no idea what to do with the fleeting memories. A moment in time. In another moment, it'll be gone. So yeah, they have this aspect of secret histories and the explore location. Oh, we found a location here too. We discovered an occult scrap. We'll talk about that in a second. The explore location says that it accepts secret histories, and when you click on it, the fleeting memory does glow, but you can't actually press the start button here. I'm assuming that there's a couple of things like this where a space will accept a card. Like you can put it in there, but it won't let you start. And in those other cases, it was the case that something else had to be true before it would let me interact with the object in that way. So this is just one of those things where we do not yet know why the system behaves as it does, and the game of it is learning that, figuring out, gaining understanding. So we found Moreland's shop. An ill-lit street and an ill-favored bend in a lesser river, a soft yellow light through a grimy window. Miss Moreland nods as I enter, but doesn't rise. I never ask the names of my clients, she informs me, before I have time to introduce myself. Okay, so we got access to a shop here, a bookstore of some kind. Deals in rare and sometimes dangerous books. Well, shoot, let's explore that then. Ah, a cost, of course. Sure. I was recently left a huge amount of money. It takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, and the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I'll find something interesting. One hopes. Alright, so we've got that all running. We have access to the study action and the dream action here. We should probably be studying something. How about these notes on a possible collaborator? I have a name, a description, a few tantalizing details. But there are 1,000 faces in this city. Alright, if we study this note we were left, hopefully we can find out who our mysterious benefactor intended us to work with. And we can take a quick dream here. So we could dream of our temptation to enlightenment. But I want to try to get another vitality. Oh, this is going to take too long. Our other vitality is going to have faded by then. If you get 2 vitality together, you can make them into another health, and then glimmering is sort of the passion version of that. Uh-oh. What has happened here? My life is slipping away. No health left. Okay. So, this is one of those things that I was talking about where there's a little bit of time pressure. This is an affliction. If the affliction cannot grab a health by the time it runs out, we will die. We will be out of health. Fortunately, the early night card, the early night is going to kick back our health when it ends, but it might kick back our health in the exhausted state. And if it does that, we might die here. Actually, let's see. Now I have an address. I'll dispatch a letter and propose a meeting. We have unlocked the talk action, and we've also gotten a little bit of mystique. They remember who I am. Mystique may attract the attention of hunters. They can't use it to build a case against you, but it will encourage them to look harder. So now we've got this talk action available. We also apparently have successfully gone to the bookstore with some money. Not a thing you would think would be a terribly taxing task. We have found De Horis, Book 1, in Latin, a 19th century reprint of a 14th century Latin translation of a 4th century work. Fantastic. I don't read Latin. Some books must be translated before they can be read. Great. Well, this is going swimmingly. That light in the skull event, dusty facts have come clear in my brain, for now at least, has given us an erudition. Erudition is the reason version of glimmering and vitality, so if we can get a couple of erudition at the same time, we can turn them into more reason. And a half-glimpsed wistfulness has touched me. We have a restlessness. Alright, I'll be honest with you, I'm real nervous about how this health thing is going to go. Mr. Alden, the supervisor of records, has called me into his office to recognize my diligence. I watch the mole on his neck as he talks, and talks, and talks. But at the end of it, I have a promotion. My new position is better paid, and the desk stands by the street window. But I work directly for Mr. Alden now. Mr. Alden is known to be exacting. So our reason is dimmed, just exhausted. This is a temporary thing. And we've got a new position and money. Excellent. Money's important. We should probably be studying, right? Let's study. Studying this book isn't going to help. What about this thing? We found this thing. I've actually never found one of these before. I have 2 lore fragments of the same level and aspect. Okay, so I need another one. What about... like I said, if we find 2 erudition, we can combine them to get another reason. What about this thing? Oh, this is a lore fragment as well. I guess I've just never found a lore fragment with this art, is what I mean. Maybe we don't have anything that's worth studying right now. If we study our passions, we'll just read sentimental literature. I'm not sure that anything good will come of this. I guess let's do it. Why not? Why not have something running? And then we should probably, go to our job. So you can see there's a 57-second timer on this. If we let our job's timer expire without going to it, that'll be like we didn't show up for a day. And obviously there are consequences. I don't know if you know this, workers' rights used to not so much be a thing. There will be some immediate punishments that are maybe not commensurate with the crime. I am better paid than I was, but Mr. Alden has taken an interest in me. Mr. Alden is very particular. Mr. Alden likes things done just so, and Mr. Alden has never believed that I am qualified for this position. That's weird, because my impression of it was that he was the one who gave me the promotion. Aspect, annoyance. Yeah, we might find a way to do something about Mr. Alden. We'll see. Come on, give me back my health. Okay, yeah, so we get our health back, we get our contentment. And this... yeah, okay, that'll grab our health. So now we don't die. We were able to provide a health to the affliction, and so instead of us just straight up dying, instead we become afflicted. This isn't that bad. We can dream on the affliction to restore it back to health, you know, as long as we're willing to spend a little something to make that work. Also, this has happened. This morning there's a spring in my step. I'm not sure why. It does seem kind of strange, doesn't it? So if we want to dream this off, resting will restore me if I have the necessary resources. We could put in a vitality card, which unfortunately we don't have, and without our health card we have no way of getting one. Or we can buy a little bit of medicine, which I think we should do because it's probably a bad idea to have 0 health. The medicine is dark and bitter as tar. It would be easy to suspect I am being poisoned. Alright, well that's good. I was kind of afraid I was going to die immediately in front of all you nice people. The reply to your letter is courteous, if cautious. They are intrigued by how you found their name, intrigued enough to meet you. So we've made a new acquaintance through our benefactor's notes. Let's have a little chat with her. Here is someone I might work with, a companion or a follower. But first I must give them something to follow. A society, a sodality, an order, a cult. So this comes a little out of nowhere. But you know, maybe it's just your character's deeply held devotion. This is something they've thought about their whole lives. We've gained a little bit of dread. I'm not 100% sure where the dread... Oh, restlessness. Restlessness turns into dread over time. I've begun my true work. The authorities will take an interest in it, and I must be ready for them. You have begun to establish your cult. It will need a little more before you can recruit followers, but, you know, we've got a little folie à deux happening right here. That's a good start. So we must choose a founding principle for our cult. Fortunately, somebody left us one. We can establish the Mirror of Glory, an occult society dedicated to the understanding of the light that leaks from a fiercer place. But you know, we also have this other thing that we found, right? It would allow us to establish the Society of Saint Hydra. That one sounds a little scarier. Let's do this. I like light. Fiercer place is maybe a little bit less comforting, but light's good. Alright, and our explorer, you know, we're not currently exploring. What can I explore? We go back to the shop. I can actually explore the occult scrap. There are places in the city where I can find extraordinary things if I can sift the clues out of history and rumor. Yeah, okay, that's never caused a problem for anybody in any of these kinds of stories. Alright, our reason is no longer dimmed, and just in time, because Mr. Alden requires it. I do not believe that you have properly understood the importance of our work here. This task will require your full attention. The work is complete when I have assessed the work as complete and not before. I trust we understand each other. Yeah, alright. I mean, we gotta get paid, right? Okay, so reading sentimental literature, I've passed the time. I have been inclined to tears and afterwards inclined to laughter. Meanwhile, the world continues. Okay, so that produced for us a glimmering. My emotions run higher than usual. There are things I'll never understand, and those things will always be precious. But just now I am closer to them. Well, you know what? Why don't we throw our passion back in here? We're going to read sentimental literature again. If we can get another glimmering off of it, we can use that to gain more passion. And it is good to have extra cards. Also, we could get chatty. Like, we could go talk to Rose again. I don't know if there's a lot of... Once you've established a cult, use talk with the cult to recruit. So I think maybe we want to wait on this. Let's not engage this until this thing's done. Some days are better than others. Our pleasant day has run its course. Sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy sheet. Sometimes the river runs clear. So you've gained some contentment. I'm happy, I think. Contentment defends against dread, but contentment doesn't last. Boy, you are telling me. Okay, so this thing, our purpose demands we recognize truths that chill the spirit. I must give of myself. I must give my reason. That's not great. All of my reason is currently occupied. And when we get it back, it's dimmed, and it will be dimmed for far too long. So see, this is like trying to have enough resources to keep everything running at once through all the timers. This is like part of where the challenge comes in. So yeah, we get our reason back. Of course, we still have our job, and we've been paid. Okay, 2 money. That's pretty good. We can probably afford to do a little bit of some other kind of work without running out of funds, but if we don't go back to our position every minute, we will get into some kind of trouble. Yeah, alright, just go back to work. Every day we work. I guess that's fairly familiar. So we're having some bleak thoughts. Dark days. I must be careful not to let doubts creep in. Dread may provoke full-fledged despair. Well, unfortunately, we had some dread when that triggered, so that might not go that well for us. And we have healed from our ailment. Alright, here we have read some more sentimental literature, and we have obtained additional glimmering. So we can feed our imagination. The tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. If I spend time studying what I've learned, I could increase my passion and gain a skill. Okay, hey, look at that. We're increasing resources. Also, what has been the result of our exploration? We have discovered a forgotten Mithraeum. Curiosity seekers have picked over this ancient temple, but there may be a hidden door here somewhere. Okay, this is not a type of thing that I have seen before. What do we... Can I explore this? I could send an expedition here to find books, treasures, tools of power, but I'll need followers to send and funds to supply them. Oh, okay. We are not ready for this. I didn't see any of this expedition mechanic. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on in this game, a lot of different things. Do we want to have a little, take a little rest, have a little dream here? Why don't we try dreaming of our temptation? We'll meditate on our goal of unearthly knowledge. Should I dedicate myself to my purpose or focus my efforts elsewhere? It wants me to throw in dedicate myself with the lore of the principle I seek or focus elsewhere. So what glowed? Passion and health. So we can change our... oh, that's right. Okay. We can change our goal. I remember doing this. So right now our goal is enlightenment, but if we were to run the event this way, it would become sensation. And if we were to put passion in this slot, it would change to power. I'm gonna let some stuff expire here. We have a good 60 seconds before we have to actually put something in that slot. Mr. Alden has found nothing to criticize in my work today. He does not look up as I leave. And hey, we get our 2 funds. We're doing actually super well on money. This is a good position to be in. Yeah, let's just keep working. We'll just build up a nice stock, and then we'll bail on the job entirely, probably, because it's kind of a pain to maintain. So we have our reason available. Maybe we should use it for something else. Oh, this is still open. What's happening now? A trembling in the air. The sun flickers like a shadow. Dreams ripple behind the surface of mirrors. I must be careful not to drift from the waking world. So while this is active, fascination may provoke visions. If we get a fascination card, it'll magnet in here, and that might or might not be good for us. I'm actually not sure. I've never had that trigger. A cult with only one member is an unusual habit. Must have a recruit. Well, we know somebody who might be vulnerable to this sort of thinking. Over here, I have decided to remain as I am for now. Yeah, I forgot to check back here before the timer ran out. Alright, so we've fed our imagination, and so not only do we have an extra passion card, but we've developed the skill of vivid imagination. Sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. That's ominous, as you might expect. So what can we do with a vivid imagination? Can we dream with it? It won't actually let me start that, though. Can we study it? Okay, we can study it with 4 more glimmerings, I assume, to gain another passion. Okay, so it gets more expensive to get more of a card as you go up. For now, I guess we have a ton of money. Let's go back to Moreland's shop and buy something. Who knows, maybe we'll get a book that will teach us Latin. Our rise begins. I have founded my cult. This is a step to greater power. Use your cult to recruit and promote followers. Talk with followers about your cult to send them out on cult business. So Rose is now a believer. We're getting our dimmed reason back. Uh-oh. If Mr. Alden demands our reason in the next 12 seconds, that might be tough for us. Of course, we're getting our Watchman's Secret back and some new cards, a temporary headquarters, and the Mirror of Glory, the cult itself. Sometimes when it gives you cards, it stacks them on top of each other like that. I really wish it would not do that. Okay, so now we have some more cards in place here. Let's try Dream into this again. Okay, what happens if we put this in? I will dedicate myself to the pursuit of knowledge. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like the thing I had an ambition for. And we can study... nothing really new here. Okay, we can go out for a long walk. This will probably provide us with some vitality as well. Maybe we can work on trying to get a second health card. Make things a little easier for us. Okay, cool. We got paid without having to provide our reason there. Also, bad stuff's happening. An adversary. Someone is meddling, so our mystique has attracted potentially somebody who is interested in our actions in a way that we will wish they were not. Mirrors are calm, the sun is steady, the glory recedes. I am sane, if that means anything. No fascination drives your visions. It's over, for now. So this is the end result of that event that can trigger off of your fascination. We didn't get any, so all we get is a fleeting memory and a consciousness of radiance. And that has that lantern on it. There is a light behind the world, a light above the Mansis, a light that penetrates both glass and skin. It is present here. A second-order influence apparent to the perceptive, instantly recognizable to an adept. This can be used in some rites to summon minions. I don't have any idea how you make rites happen. I'm just not deep enough in. Alright, we found something at Moreland's shop. What is this? The War of the Roads, 1450 to 1580 Censored Edition. Willis Ford describes the War of the Roads, an event in a history other than our own, in detail. But numerous pages have been removed. The name of the publisher is blacked out, and an ominous slip stapled to the cover explains that Willis Ford has been excised. Alright, let's study that. Well, I guess when we have a moment. Also, I feel like we have enough money we could let's just keep shopping at the bookstore. They got some weird stuff here. We don't have enough money that I feel comfortable stopping work, though. I think we could run through all that pretty quickly. Also, we should interact with our cult, right? So we can throw Rose in here. To promote a believer to a disciple, I'll need to provide an appropriate aspect for the cult to at least the 7th intensity. I only need a small secret. The higher mysteries require deeper oaths. So nothing lit up when I hit that. Yeah, I don't think we have... We need an aspect of lore. This is not that thing. This is an influence. Boy. Okay, I guess we can't do that. Systems yet to be grasped. What if I just talk to Rose? We can discuss occult business with her. What do I need from my follower? A subject. Here, we have cult business. Important cult business. Abduct a stranger. Wow, that's not where I thought this conversation was going to go. She will struggle to abduct a victim, but she may be lucky. Yeah, okay. Give it a shot. Why don't you kidnap somebody? It's maybe not a thing you should just be like, yeah, go ahead. Go give it a try. Let's see what happens. Oh, there's always someone who doesn't understand, or who understands too well. This troublemaker may seek evidence on my activities to share with the authorities. Spencer Hobson has been a journalist, a private detective, and, rather briefly, a priest. Now he's an agent of the Suppression Bureau. Alright, I've seen this guy before. I had trouble with this guy on a previous character. Also, we've discovered the Victory of Crowns. Erratic accounts by one Arun of hunting and consumption of supposed immortals by shadowy cults of assassins. That sounds interesting. What are the aspects here? Auctionable. Huh. Okay, I suppose that's one way you can make money. So maybe you can go on these expeditions and discover things that you could then sell at auction if you could find a place to do that thing. I don't know where you would auction off a thing like this even. So yeah, we got our health back and we've got a vitality. You can get vitality sometimes by studying health and sometimes by dreaming health. I have spoken the words. Each hour has its color, but color exists only where there is light. I will go where there is light, though it bleach me to glass. I have advanced a step toward a terrible ascension. Cool. I have become dedicated to enlightenment. I must see beneath the skin, whatever the cost. This makes an enlightenment victory possible. I must be a true initiate of the Mansis. I'll need to work with Grail aspect to allow the Watchman to see me. Okay, so we gotta look for an aspect of Grail. But I don't... Okay. Yeah, I don't really know. Let's try going to bed early. Let's see if we can get another point of vitality off of that so that we can turn it into a second health card. Let's just rest, you know? Just chill out. And also, let's study one of these weird books. Actually, you know what? This one sounds really interesting. In this past, a score or more of longs were made. They brokered peace with the Forge of Days, long enough to set England on a path of early conquest and eventual destruction. The Forge itself devoured the greatest among them. Yeah. Once again, as always in these sorts of stories, obtaining the forbidden knowledge, nothing bad ever happens. I mean, let's go buy another book, right? As long as we have money. So now we have a dedication. We have a path here. We have a linear that we are working along. I don't really know how to do it. Exotic cravings. What hungers drive me? Alright, I don't have any obsessions that I'm aware of, so... Oh, my dedication. Even in waking hours, I have begun to see new colors. My curiosity is becoming a physical need. My eyes will be thresholds. It is almost time to perform the work and begin the changes. But I must have enough lantern aspect. Exploration might find more. Okay, that was like a hint. Also, we found another book. The Orchid Transfigurations, Volume 2. A 16th century alchemical fever dream attributed to Robert Flood, frequently banned for the disturbing allure of its illustrations. In the original Latin, of course, because why wouldn't it be? So, wait, can I use my dedication to explore? No. I'm not really sure how to advance in the cult. How to make my cult more powerful, I mean. Well, somebody's got to know. Maybe they wrote it down. Let's buy a book. Okay, and over here, Mr. Alden is demanding our reason, which is good. That means he's going to pay us soon. I'm a little concerned. Burning through a lot of money very quickly. We might have to lay off on the buying occult books. Alright, we got paid. Come on, vitality. We have studied the censored edition of this weird book. The royalty of England, according to Willis Ford, became the sovereigns of the leashed flame, destroying or transforming their enemies, conquering Europe, establishing grand cathedrals to St. Spark. The alliance with the Forge begins to take its toll. The last few chapters are missing entirely. We have discovered a furtive truth. A detail smuggled in from an adjacent narrative. Don't speak this where you may be overheard. Exploring with this scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations in the Shires. Okay, that's interesting. Let's do that. Also, a book. A collection of poetry. Study with 2 glimmerings to gain passion. Okay. So, you can already combine 2 glimmerings to gain passion, but I guess maybe this works even after you've gained the first point of passion. Because remember, the only way we could raise it now is with a vivid imagination and 4 glimmerings. Also, it looks like our obsession is going to trigger again. And my minion has returned empty-handed, but she has brought us some notoriety. Fantastic. Thanks there, Rose. You're really killing it. We're all proud of you. Okay, I probably need to work my job some more. We really still don't have enough money for me to feel comfortable. And let's explore this furtive truth. Odd nooks remain in the quiet countryside, here and there, for those who know where to look. Okay, I don't think we have any important... I mean, we could just send Rose out to attempt... send Rose out to attempt another kidnapping. She seems to be pretty bad at it, though. I don't think we really gain anything from it. And we probably don't want a ton of notoriety sitting around. Okay, this one's in English. We can study this book. Wait. And we have to use study to combine the 2 points of vitality, so let's see if we do indeed. We did not. We had a nightmare of the cleansing dawn, and we've gained fascination. So this would be a real bad time for that fascination event to show up. Or maybe not, because it says it gives you visions. I don't know. Now I can slough off my flesh, patch by patch, tugging the tendons free like fibers picked from teeth. My skin lies like a shredded blanket. The sun heaves itself above the horizon with a triumphant battle yell. The light falls like acid on my naked bones. Pain wakes me. My bones will throb for days. Yeah, that's a heck of a nightmare. Okay, so we not only did we not get any vitality, it's considerably worse than that. Well, let's, how much time do we have left on this vitality? Okay. We're going to go for a little walk. Maybe this will provide us with the other point of vitality we need. And now we could have a dream. What can we do in a dream? Alright, we can dream, we can use our fascination in a dream. Seek composure. The doors of vision swing wide. A little darkness will mellow my light. Even dread has its uses. Okay, so this is a way we can burn dread to do something with fascination. I don't know. In this situation, I don't know how to acquire some dread on purpose. We could... I don't know, Rose looks pretty creepy. Maybe we just, like, chat with Rose. We should probably dream about something else. What's spooky? Let's dream about... Let's just put our passion in there. Sometimes we have spooky dreams when we do that. A piece of lore. Yeah, okay. This is the only one we have. I could sleep in a room without colors, bleach the sheets, whitewash the walls, dye my hair, and paint my skin. Yeah, that's going to be comfortable. Alright, that would instill some dread in me. That might work. Oh, actually, this might give us some dread right here. It sure did. And now, yeah, now I can't use it. And this thing is going to pull my dread before I can. Ah, crap. Well, I'm not doing a good job of balancing things here. And I have kind of no idea where I'm going. That's a lot of the game, is having no idea where you're going and having to just kind of figure it out. So hopefully this will work out the way we want. We're getting paid. That's good. We have discovered something. The Lockwood Fen. The reeking murk of the fenlands is ripe with furtive life. Taciturn locals still watch the sacred places of the small and secret gods, the ones that answer prayers. So this looks like it's another one of those expeditions. There is something precious here. Oh, I should actually, like, take the card. So I can put it in here. Yeah, okay, it's going to do the same thing. We need to have more than one follower. That's a problem. Alright, we did get a vitality. So if we just combine our 2 vitality here, I'm abrim with vitality. If I devote some time to exercise, I'll benefit. That'll give us a little bit of protection against something going horribly wrong with our funds, or, you know, just us falling ill. The Bleached Way. Color exists only where there is light, and the wood is the place where light does not walk. In the dream I close my eyes and walk, stumbling, bruising my feet and knees. At last the undergrowth before me grows too thick to pass, and when I open my eyes I am adrift among black trees. Shadows flutter. My feet will know the way back to this place. What is this? A buzzing in the brain. Huh. That's strange. Is that actually Latin? I don't know enough Latin to know if these are real stems. A second order influence. Okay, we found a second order influence of moth. I have no idea what to do with that. And also, way the wood. I've learned the path to the wood. The tangled darkness that grows around the walls of the Mansis, though the Mansis has no walls. I can dream with this to return to the wood. Okay, hey, that looks like progress. That's a path. Let's dream with it immediately. Okay, we cannot dream with restlessness. I guess it's going to turn into dread in a second here, so you know what? We should not dream. We should wait until this turns into dread, and then we should combine it with fascination in a dream to see what that does. And then we should probably go back to work, I guess. Is there anybody here to talk to? We go talk to Spencer. We could talk to our temporary headquarters. Place a follower in here to convert them permanently into a prisoner. Oh. We just jammed them in the cupboard. Okay, let's not do that. That seems unnecessary. We can talk to our watchman's secret? Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. Yeah, okay, yeah, perhaps that is what I want. Let's see if anybody seems interested. All right, we're gonna have to grab this dread pretty quickly after it transforms, because they do get magneted onto the cards quickly. So we throw some dread in here. The doors of vision swing wide. Let's see what happens. I've not found a use for that fascination card yet, so maybe this will be cool. And maybe I should stop spending money on books. But also crazy magic books. Like, how do I not? How do I not buy every crazy magic book that I'm entitled to, right? I gotta say, the couple of games I had before did not look like this. I'm doing a much better job of staying alive this time. Traveling at Night, Volume 2, the annotated dream journals of Christopher Illopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist, literate, entertaining, and bewildering. This is the second volume, as you might gather from the title. Okay, well that's something interesting to study, perhaps. Okay, hold on. Let's hold off on spending more money until we've actually studied all the books we do have. Oh, what's happening here? The city is rife with journalists and detectives and other meddlers. How long will they leave me in peace? We've attracted the wrong kind of attention here. Let's keep an eye on this. We have lots of space over here. Okay, I've grown stronger. I've gained health, but it'll be more difficult to gain health next time. So the strong physique works just like a vivid imagination then. We can study it, but it takes more vitality. That's how we gain our next health. And we're getting paid. And we're continuing to work. It's just like real life, you know, you work your horrible, boring, stultifying day jobs so that you can go home and try to start a cult at night. The Victory of Crowns is in English. Yeah, that'll be our next study. The assassins are, according to Arun, the agents of a power called the Colonel, a soldier of the secret masters. These accounts go all the way back to Roman times. Well, that sure makes it seem like they're probably fiction. An acquaintance. I found someone who may be a kindred spirit, but I'll need to win them over. Winning over an acquaintance requires your passion, which luckily was not in use. Although we had two that were not in use. What's going on here? An adversary is asking searching questions about my activities. That notoriety from Rose's failed kidnapping attempt is kicking us in the ass a little bit here. The air is curdled now. I am home again in this lumpen flesh. Better, perhaps. Okay, so all that did really was eat both the fascination and the dread, which is probably a good thing. All right, let's dream of the wood. If I have enough passion, I can walk the dream road to the wood. If I have the right knowledge, I might be able to find the way beyond. Maybe I have the right knowledge. Now I pass between scar-barked trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I am stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. Okay, well, if a hunter has found notoriety, they will try to use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they will always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. Is this dude, what's his deal? He is a mystic. He will usually survive attacks by creatures of the Mansis. He's mortal. That's good news for us. Okay, and he's erratic. So who knows what's going to happen here? Maybe he'll find some evidence and maybe he won't. Also, we've made a new acquaintance, a hanger-on. Usefully malleable, but they'll probably never amount to much. Okay, well, listen, we pretty much just need bodies, right? So let's put the cult in here. We'll talk to you about it, the ceremony. Yeah, the Watchman's Secret. Man, it sure is a good thing we got this card for free. This one is ready. We can add some trappings. I don't know what that would do. Our health was glowing, so... By invoking Lantern. Yeah. Recruit an acquaintance. There, we're doing it. We're out here and we're doing it. Oh, no. This is almost the end. Find contentment now or it's over. I have... Yes, this despair, if it acquires 3 dreads, which it totally did because I kept creating dread. Do we have a source of contentment? I don't even... Arun's scholarship is dubious, but he, or she, writes pithily. Incidents of sudden and violent death are interspersed with aphorisms. Ours don't dream. Long try not to. So we've obtained a knife secret, but this is not going to help me survive. Also, we got paid, which is cool. Can I get some contentment from that? You know, the contentment in a job well done, perhaps? No? Ah, and I am certain that my adversary has lodged a copy of their notes elsewhere, with their solicitor, with their superior, or even with a contact in the press. So Spencer Hobson has generated some tentative evidence against us. Things are going not great, you know, certainly not that well. I need contentment. I need to read a book of poetry? What if I read a book of poetry? Wouldn't that be lovely? No, it doesn't work like that. What if I worked at my passion? I used to paint. Ah, I could paint those sights I half remember from my dreams. I might sell something. I probably won't. Who knows? It's going to take 60 seconds. This isn't going to do it. Oh, apparently you can put restlessness in with your paintings. I guess that makes sense. Okay, so painting's a good way to get rid of restlessness? Hey, that's a thing I've learned now. Maybe this dream will provide contentment? Oh. This dream certainly provided something. What on earth is this? The Worm Museum? The Peacock Door? Hold on a sec. I'm just going to take a quick screenshot. I reckon I might need this later. And then, alright, we got cards over here. So, an occult scrap. So, the detail from a history layered beneath the one we know. Flip this over. I lost an awareness of an appetite and gained a furtive truth. Huh. Okay. Now what happens? Oh, the game's been paused this whole time. I unpause? No. Pressing that button actually doesn't do anything. Am I... What have I done? You pretty much just interact with the game using the mouse. And none of the mouse buttons are doing a thing here, so... Oh, we drag the furtive truth to the wood. That is a movable thing. In my sleep I came to the high jagged rock, which is still called the Temple of the Wheel. Hold on, let's pause here, because we're about to die. I want to finish reading this. Though the hour called Wheel is long extinct. Another hand had scratched a secret in the black lantern on its flank. I burned that secret into my memory to preserve for waking, before the velvet came out of the velvet wood depths and erased it. The velvet is jealous of her secrets. So we learned a furtive truth. We've temporarily exhausted one of our passions. We've still got the way to the wood, but I think we are done. We did, however, recruit an acquaintance successfully, so that's cool. Now our cult is 3 people. That's better than I've ever done before at culting. Oh, hey, music. Despair, the wolf that devours thought. Am I alive or am I dead? It no longer matters. I allowed the despair token to reach 3 dread or injury. I certainly did. So this is... I was a little afraid there. Things were going so well that I wasn't going to get to show this off. When you jump into your next game, you can choose to start pretty much the same, or you can choose to start... You can choose a start based on the legacy of one of your previous characters. So... As the patient descended into the final delirium, I made copious notes. In the buzzing heat of the night, I reread those notes, and they began, at last, to make a kind of sense. So this is the physician that sat over us as the despair drove us into madness, and they overheard our previous character, SB. They overheard our gibbering, and that like spreads the plot to them almost like a virus. And then this is based on my previous character who got arrested. I'm an inspector in the capital's police, charged with investigation of the most vile and wretched things that one human does to another. And this is from the character after that. So my first character got arrested by the police for trying to cult and not doing a very good job of it. And then as the constable inspector character, I caught the follower of that previous character and managed to pin all the cult crimes on her and got a big promotion and became a wealthy and respected member of society. And that was a successful ending. I got promoted up and I never dabbled with the occult or whatever. So then that character was retired and I became able to be their heir. So like if we jump into this real quick, we won't play a whole game here, but endowed from birth with wealth and talent, a life of ease, comfort, and delight stretches ahead like an amber carpet. So if we jump in here, I missed the dawn. I generally do. There'll be plenty more. You can see we have this card. One dabbles with writing and one dabbles with painting, but one lives above all in the certainty of one's allowance. So that's our work. That's what we're going to do. We do, a little dabbling. Possibly I'll get something done today. Who knows? So we start with this card and health in this start. And the work event and nothing else. And then from there, things build. And it's kind of amazing how it emerges out from the details of previous characters' lives. So, it's all going swimmingly, although Papa's health is not improving. A golden day of occasional work. A very different start than the last one we had. Oh hey, that allowance I was talking about. I assume I just want to keep quote-unquote earning my allowance. And what exactly is going on here in the Explore node? A world of possibilities. Some ripping sorts are introducing me to some ripping sorts of places. It turns out, when you have a lot of money, there's a lot of people eager to take you places and get you to pay. If I ever have trouble deciding how to spend my money, the good people at these spots can certainly be of assistance. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Okay, so I didn't actually play into this character, I just started the thing for the video. These are two locations that my policeman character had interacted with a bunch of times over the course of the event. Oh, this is where we could auction stuff, right? I bought stuff at the auction house. I didn't even think about being able to sell stuff there. Okay, that's really interesting. So with this character, if we found the bookstore, we could find things there that we might be able to auction, or if we were able to do one of those expeditions. Okay, I'm putting stuff together. And see, that's sort of like that's the game of it, really, right? Is the putting it together. It's a puzzle game. It's just a very strange sort of puzzle game with heavy narrative elements, and I think it is really, really cool. So, that's what we're going to call it here. This is Cultist Simulator. It is $20 on Steam, but it's 10% off for the first week. So, also, you may have noticed, we jump back to the main menu here. Save and exit. Is that going to... Yeah. You'll notice it says Perpetual Edition here. If you buy it during the first week, you get the Perpetual Edition, which makes all future DLC free. Otherwise, if you wait more than a week, you will have to buy that, presumably. So yeah, I recommend it. I think this is super cool. Thank you all for watching.